ready. That way we don't gotta get ready.
Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez have reignited one of boxing's most anticipated potential showdowns after a heated argument on Instagram Live.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost.
The interaction, which was full of sharp exchanges, has refocused attention on whether these two undisputed champions will eventually face off in the ring. What started as another rumor turned into a fiery exchange, with Crawford accusing Canelo of ducking tough competition, while Canelo remained firm, dismissing Crawford's challenges as baseless. The Instagram Live session between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez didn't take long to escalate. Known for being outspoken, Crawford came straight at Canelo, calling him out for avoiding a fight with him or with fellow super middleweight contender David Benavidez. "Sign the contract, B***. Crawford said, bluntly challenging Canelo to step into the ring with him. He didn't hold back, accusing Canelo of picking easy opponents to protect his legacy. "Fight me or fight Benavidez, homie. You out there choosing weaker opponents, and you know it. Berlanga was an easy night for you. That's why you picked it," Crawford said, referencing Canelo's recent win over rising star Edgar Berlanga. This wasn't just a random shot. Crawford's words extended the criticisms that have followed Canelo for a while. Claims that the Mexican star is avoiding true threats in favor of easier fights to maintain his undisputed status at super middleweight. In Crawford's mind, Canelo was cherry-picking opponents and Berlanga was just another name on a list of easy targets. Canelo, known for his calm demeanor even under fire, wasn't rattled by Crawford's accusations. He remained firm, giving a sharp reply that dismissed Crawford's challenge without much fanfare. "Like I always say, there are weight classes for a reason. Stay in your class, stop chasing the money," Canelo shot back, effectively shutting down Crawford's attempts to pull him into a fight. Canelo's response reflected his long-standing belief that fighters should stick to their divisions. For Canelo, Crawford's challenge, while bold, didn't make much sense given their size difference. After all, Canelo has been operating at 168 pounds and higher, while Crawford's success has been at welterweight, a much lower division. The idea of Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo seemed unrealistic to the super middleweight king.
Couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Kovalev couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Berlanga couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez.
But for Crawford, the weight difference was irrelevant. He had already proven himself against bigger opponents throughout his career and saw no reason why Canelo should be any different. "I'm ready to fight anybody. I'll fight you. I'll fight Benavidez. You all guys know I'm a problem. I'm not scared to move up. You just scared of me," Crawford said, expressing his willingness to take on any challenge. Fueling the fire is the fact that Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority is still interested in staging this blockbuster fight, pushing it for December or January. Talks are going around about a massive event taking place in the United States, with Saudi involvement helping to make the dream fight a reality. This raises the stakes even higher for both fighters, and while the boxing world debates whether this fight will happen, the interest from Saudi Arabia only intensifies the speculation.
Oh, you know what I mean? Catchweight. We can do something out of catchweight.
What weight you think?
Probably like 160 or something.
You said you said 154 is the highest you wanted to go.
Yeah, 158, 160. That'd be.
For Crawford, this fight represents a chance to make history. Moving up 2 weight classes to face Canelo would be one of the boldest moves in recent boxing history, cementing his legacy as a fearless competitor, willing to take on any challenge, no matter the size difference. But for Canelo, the fight comes with more risks than rewards. Despite Crawford's skill, Canelo knows that defeating a smaller opponent might not gain him the recognition he deserves. "If I beat Crawford, they'll say, well, he's smaller. It's a no-win situation for me, even though he's a great fighter," Canelo stated when asked about the potential matchup. Canelo has been open about how he would approach a fight with Crawford. In a recent interview with Fight Hype, Canelo acknowledged that Crawford's switch-hitting ability, his capacity to fight effectively in both southpaw and orthodox stances, would make him a tricky opponent. I think Crawford would be tough to prepare for because he goes southpaw and orthodox. I think he's a very difficult fighter, Canelo admitted. Still, Canelo remains confident that he has the tools to win. He pointed out that patience and body shots would be the key to breaking down Crawford's defenses. Just be patient. Prepare myself like always and be patient. Work the body. But I think being patient is the key. Everybody looks for the head, and it's very difficult to hit that kind of fighter in the head, Canelo explained. Canelo's emphasis on body shots makes sense, especially against a smaller, faster opponent like Crawford. While Crawford might be able to evade headshots, Canelo's devastating body punches could wear him down over time, making it easier to land power shots later in the fight. While Crawford has been relatively quiet on how he would approach a fight with Canelo, his trainer Brian McIntyre has not held back. McIntyre is fully confident that Crawford's boxing IQ and versatility would be enough to defeat Canelo, even with the size difference. Speaking to Fight Hub TV earlier this year, McIntyre made his position clear. Bud beats his ass, outboxes his ass, just outboxes him. McIntyre dismissed concerns about Canelo's power, explaining that Crawford has faced big punchers throughout his career and knows how to take their power away. We know how to roll with punches, we'll take your power away from you. How do you take the power away from a power puncher? Timing. If the fight happens, it'd be an Errol Spence Crawford 2, McIntyre said, referring to Crawford's dominant performance against Errol Spence Jr. in their recent welterweight unification fight. McIntyre also hinted at the consequences for Canelo if he were to lose to Crawford, saying that a loss to a smaller fighter would severely damage his reputation. I respect that Canelo said he would gain nothing from the fight, because you get beat by the smaller man, now you're gonna look like an asterisk, HH, asterisk. Hard boxing fans know that Bud could beat Canelo. He might be bigger, but he don't got the height, he ain't got the reach, McIntyre added. For McIntyre, the fight isn't just about size or power, it's about intelligence. And he firmly believes that Crawford's boxing IQ is superior to Canelo's. He's got a good boxing IQ, but he don't have that crazy IQ that Terence has, McIntyre said, emphasizing that Crawford's ability to adapt in the ring would be the deciding factor. While their heated Instagram live session has certainly stirred up excitement, there are still many obstacles in the way of making the fight happen. Canelo has already stated his reluctance to face a smaller fighter like Crawford, knowing that he would receive little credit for a victory. At the same time, Crawford continues to push for the fight, convinced that he can beat Canelo and add another historic win to his already impressive resume. When asked about a potential fight with Crawford, Canelo was quite dismissive of the idea at first. He bluntly pointed out the obvious problem: Crawford's size. I have nothing to win with Crawford, Canelo stated. 2-3 weight classes less than me? For Canelo, this fight doesn't make much sense. It's hard to argue with that. Crawford would have to move up a considerable amount, and Canelo, having conquered multiple weight classes himself, doesn't see this as a challenge he needs. But interestingly, Canelo doesn't entirely shut down the idea either. But if the money is right, why not? Canelo added, leaving the door open just a crack. This simple remark throws gasoline on the fire, as fans know that in boxing, money talks, and anything is possible if the price is right.
To you on the internet with Turkey Al-Sheikh calling you out, what's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
While a Crawford fight may not be happening anytime soon, Canelo's dismissal of the idea gives fans the sense that he's willing to fight just about anyone, provided the conditions are right. However, there's another name that keeps cropping up, and this one seems to be a much more natural fit for Canelo: David Benavidez. Benavidez, dubbed the Mexican Monster, has long been viewed as one of the few fighters capable of giving Canelo a real challenge. A former super middleweight champion, Benavidez has been calling Canelo out for years, hoping for his shot at the champ. But as with any potential fight, there's more to it than just two guys stepping in the ring. Benavidez's situation is complicated. Despite his impressive resume and clear talent, Benavidez has had some setbacks both inside and outside the ring. In his last fight, Benavidez made his light heavyweight debut, but it wasn't the explosive performance fans were hoping for. The fight left many underwhelmed, and since then, Benavidez decided to stick with light heavyweight rather than return to super middleweight, where he would have been Canelo's mandatory challenger for the WBC belt.
We want financials.
Tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes.
Tell him.
This decision by Benavidez not to chase Canelo at super middleweight raised eyebrows, especially considering that he had twice held the WBC belt in that division. But Benavidez lost the title outside the ring both times. First in 2018 after a failed substance test, and again in 2020 after missing weight by 2 pounds. These moments of mismanagement have cast a shadow over Benavidez's career, and now, with his move to light heavyweight, it seems like the potential Canelo-Benavidez showdown is slipping further away. Weight, however, remains a significant talking point when it comes to this fight. Benavidez is around 200 pounds right now, Canelo said, suggesting that the weight difference between them might be too much of a challenge. His trainer, Eddie Reynoso, extended the idea, stating, super middleweight 168 pounds is his weight, and that's the only weight they're going to fight. For Reynoso and Canelo, the fight has to happen at super middleweight, and they don't seem interested in chasing Benavidez up to light heavyweight. For fans, the frustration is evident. Benavidez is seen as one of the few legitimate threats left for Canelo at 168 pounds, and many believe that it's a fight that simply has to happen. But for now, it's not on the horizon, and the path to making it a reality seems filled with roadblocks. As Canelo approaches his next fight, fans are left wondering how many more opponents there are for him. His resume is packed with champions from multiple weight divisions, and Edgar Berlanga marked his 66th professional fight, a massive number for any boxer. With such a long career already behind him, it's only natural to ask how much longer Canelo will be in the game. According to him, the end isn't too close just yet. 4 or 5 years more, he said when asked how much time he has left in the ring. Maybe, I don't know. I like to see everything day by day.
I just look at Canelo like he can be beat. He's been beat before, so he can definitely, Buck got the tools to beat him. I mean, Buck got it in him. He has it in him.
Even though he's been boxing for almost 20 years, Canelo seems unfazed by the wear and tear that comes with such a long career. I feel like I'm 24, he added, mentioning that he still enjoys his training camps and fights. For now, he's taking things one day at a time. And as long as he still enjoys the process, it seems he'll keep going. Despite this, fans have noticed that his recent performances have been lacking the explosive knockouts that once defined him. His last 5 fights have all gone the distance, and though his last 3 opponents have hit the canvas, none of them stayed down for the count. When asked about this, Canelo dismissed any concerns, saying, I take my time. I'm in no hurry to get a knockout every single fight. I take my time, and I show them how good I am in 12 rounds. Canelo's approach seems to be more about showcasing his technical skills rather than always going for the knockout, and he doesn't feel the need to rush things in the ring anymore. If I was to put in a little more effort, I could have knocked out Munguia too, he said. But I'm having fun. Canelo's confidence is unmistakable, and it's clear that he's in control of his own career. But with fewer and fewer big names left to fight at 168 pounds, the question remains, what's next? While Crawford and Benavidez may not be on the immediate horizon, the fans' appetite for these matchups isn't going away anytime soon. And as Canelo approaches 2 decades in the sport, the intrigue surrounding his future only grows. Outside the ring, Canelo's life seems just as full as ever. He's focused on his business ventures, and his beloved car collection is complete, with a prized LaFerrari sitting at the top of the list. His family life is going well, with his children healthy and growing, and while he's open to the idea of one day supporting them if they choose to follow in his footsteps as a boxer, he's also clear that he wants to guide fighters in other ways too. If I'm still in boxing after I retire, it's going to be to help the fighters and teach them how boxing really works, he said, hinting at a future in the business side of the sport.
I feel in my best moment right now because of the meditation, yeah. I feel in my best. I feel not just in boxing, in life.
Life, in relationships.
Friends, business, boxing, everything.
For now, Canelo's focus is on his next fight. It may not be the one that fans are most excited about, but it's the one on the schedule. And with Canelo, there's always the possibility of a knockout or a masterclass performance. But things just keep getting interesting. In a recent video interview, Terence Crawford spoke about the difficulty in securing a fight with Canelo Alvarez, shedding light on what he sees as hypocrisy and excuses coming from the Mexican champion. Crawford began by stating just how significant this fight would be for him personally. He revealed that facing Canelo was a major goal and a motivating factor in his career. "To be honest, that was my motivation to fight," Crawford said, reflecting on how much he was looking forward to the challenge. However, the prospect of the fight seemed to grow more distant, and Crawford couldn't help but notice the tactics and reasons Canelo offered to avoid it. "It's crazy, and it makes me laugh with all the antics that Canelo is doing and saying in the media about the size, and he won't get no credit and all these types of things," Crawford said, implying that Canelo's excuses didn't hold much weight.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost.
One of Crawford's key points was calling out what he sees as hypocrisy in Canelo's reasoning. Canelo has mentioned that the size difference between him and Crawford would make the fight unfair and that he wouldn't get credit for beating a smaller opponent. But Crawford fired back, pointing out that Canelo has a history of fighting smaller opponents throughout his career. "Canelo been fighting smaller guys his whole career," Crawford said. He specifically highlighted several instances where Canelo took on opponents who were stepping up in weight to face him, including Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Jermell Charlo. Canelo fought a smaller Mayweather, Canelo fought a smaller Amir Khan. He fought Jermell Charlo, Crawford noted, adding that Canelo had no issue taking those fights despite the size differences. Crawford further emphasized that size wasn't an issue for Canelo in those bouts, so it shouldn't be an excuse now. Canelo's victories over smaller opponents didn't seem to bother him before, and Crawford believes the argument doesn't hold water when applied to their potential fight.
Has the Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk. With the right business come across the table, it happened. I just be talking, man. Canelo a big dude, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I believe in my abilities. He's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy. Like, he's 5'8", I'm 5'8", you know what I mean? My arm's longer than his, so that fight would be good.
In addition to discussing size, Crawford also touched on the financial side of the fight, which he sees as another area where Canelo's reasoning doesn't add up. Canelo has reportedly demanded significant sums for fighting certain opponents, including a $200 million payday to fight David Benavidez and $150 million to face Crawford. To Crawford, these demands suggest that Canelo views him as a serious threat. "If it's all about business, then you're doing good business. If I'm easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering you," Crawford remarked, referring to the high-profile nature of their potential fight. He believes that if Canelo truly thought he could easily defeat him, he would take the fight for the financial gain alone. But he want $200 million for Benavidez, and he want $150 million to fight me. "So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him," Crawford said. He interpreted Canelo's financial demands as a sign of respect, suggesting that Canelo is well aware of the risk he would be taking by facing Crawford. One of the most compelling aspects of this potential fight is the fact that Crawford would have to jump from welterweight, where he has dominated, all the way up to super middleweight to face Canelo. Despite the daunting size difference, Crawford expressed confidence that he could dethrone Canelo at 168 pounds. "It would be crazy for a guy who started at 135 to come all the way up to 168, your weight, no catchweight or none of that, and dethrone you," Crawford stated. He acknowledged the enormity of the task, but also highlighted how historic such a victory would be. Crawford believes Canelo is fully aware of this possibility and sees it as a major risk, so he got that in the back of his head. This guy, for one, he's tough. For two, he's a boxer, he moves, he can punch, he can do it all, Crawford said, explaining that Canelo knows he can't afford to slip up in a fight with him. For Crawford, the core issue is not whether Canelo would win or lose, but rather the perceived risk to Canelo's legacy. A loss to Crawford, especially after moving up 2 weight classes, could damage Canelo's reputation among his fans, particularly his Mexican fan base. I can't slip up and lose to this guy. Then what would my fans think of me? What would my Mexican people think of me? Crawford speculated, speaking from Canelo's perspective. Well, how do you think this fight would go? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you next time.